Welcome to this new Flight Simulator update movie. In this movie we're going to look at what we can expect in Sim Update number 8. We're going to do that both looking at the development roadmap, but also at the release notes, which were part of the, I would say, beta versions. So currently it's planned to be released on the 28th of February, and then the day after we will receive the famous Flyer 1, the Beechcraft, right? So one day later. Looking forward to that. If we look at the top box, there's nothing which we can pin to Sim Update number 8. You can see Sim Update number 9, Chinese location will be added there. So that's work in progress. On the second slide, there's also not that much, except this one on the bottom. Please add the vegetation render distance slider. So that will be part of Sim Update number 8. And the rest of that will be released later this year or as part of world updates. Continuing on the next slide, there's really nothing for Sim Update number 8. On the next slide, the crash to desktop without the error message. That's ongoing fixes, right? I would say that's kind of expected, right? They're continuously, I would say, fixing bugs based on the reports which are done. So that will be part of Sim Update number 8 and 9. And also the approach flyback bug has been started to be fixed in Sim Update number 8. So let's see if it's really being fixed. Lack of real-time traffic, also part of Sim Update number 8, and also the lightning and live weather excessive, that will also be part of Sim Update number 8. Then if we go to the VR piece, we can see that there's a lot being added, but a lot of it, unfortunately, is to be decided. There's really nothing except this one, the volumetric lightning effects are gone in VR. That's the only fix which is part of Sim Update number 8 for VR. So going to the release notes, right? We already went to the release notes when doing the start of the beta, right? So I'm just going to go briefly to this, right? New marketplace. I post a video about that, so have a look on my channel and you will see it. Then there's the new private match for the Reno Air Races. The new optional propeller simulation system with hundreds of moving surfaces covering the propeller realistically simulated has been implemented on 3 airplanes, right? So the Cessna 152, the Cessna 208B, and the Grand Caravan EX and Beechcraft King Air 350E, right? So this one aircraft. I thought it as were 2, but it's one aircraft. That improved the propeller effects such as the P factor as well as the feathering. So have a look once Sim Update number 8 is available and try it yourself. Then there's a new Spotlight event. Also that one, you can find it on my channel. That's the Reno Stat Airport one. A really nice one with the Cessna Citation CG4. Going down the list, we see that they, I would say, categorize the fixes in multiple categories. One of them is the stability, right? Several crashes has been fixed. Ongoing performance impact, performance enhancements. Lower GPU consumption when the main window is minimized and when installing packages, and the fixed frame rate drop on D3D 11, which I think they're referring to DirectX 11, to be honest. Navigation, there are changes to the world map. Also for that, have a look at my channel. I posted a video about how those things have changed in the map, right? It's not only for DME, it's also the Tarkan channels and the ability to buy things directly from the world map. Although that one is probably maybe on a discussion because there was a lot of feedback about that one. Continuing with the weather, we've got the improved multimeter visibility ingestion. They fixed several live weather issues where it could take up to 5 minutes to download the weather. They fixed an issue where gusts could actually decrease wind intensity, and they fixed some other things like the QNH altimeter in live weather and an issue that prevented live weather from being available at 0000 Zulu time. VR, a lot of fixes here. Default pilot position, a lot of volumetric lightning effects. That's the one we just discussed. Several fixes like the yoke is not frozen anymore when a panel is hovered. So a lot of things. If you're playing with the VR and you've got VR controllers, you should see some improvements. Then we're coming to the audio piece. That's, I would say, changed a bit, right? The main device output, the communication device output can now be managed from the options menu, right? That's if to separate the main channel and the communication, right? If you're wearing a headset, it's now separated. And there's an accessibility one where they have the option to convert from stereo to mono option on the Xbox. If we're looking at the activity, I've got some good news for you. There are some fixes also for the ILS approaches, which initially failed. That's now being fixed because I confirmed it as part of beta testing. That one works now, really cool. So now you can finally, let's say, complete those missions for ILS approaches. Weather and flight plan save data are now part of the cloud save, right? So I posted a video about how to save your flight plans in the cloud. So have a look at it. Really nice option. So you can easily share it between Xbox and the PC, but also have the ability to, let's say, create a kind of a backup of your saved flights and also the flight plans. Then we're coming to the planes. And again, I'm not going to go to this whole list because you can see that there are tons of fixes, including fixes for the autopilot, the hold HUD view and toggle HUD view are now being added as shortcuts to the control list. The Garmin GPS, prevent airport icons from flickering. A lot of stuff has been fixed in the generic piece, right? Because this is the general section of the airplanes. Besides that, there are several fixes for both the Boeing 747 and the 787. Some of them have to do with the flight plan vector, some of them have to do with AirNav, some of them have to do with the ground speed display. So a lot of cool things which are added or fixed in the Boeing. And that's also for the Boeing 747-8 Intercontinental. So these fixes apply to both of them, while these fixes apply to the 787 only, and this only to the 747. Then we've got my favorite one, the A320, although I'm using the fly-by-wire one. Several fixes with the camera enhancements, fix the MCDU flight plan, being unable to set the arrival, approach, when departure and arrival airports are the same. They fixed the landing retraction, the ND weather brightness setting knob has been added. So small changes to this one, but to be honest, I still prefer to have the fly-by-wire one. Then the Super Hornet. Also, tons of fixes. Shadows were improved, icing added, heading selected in heading select mode of the autopilot is now being updated when moving the switch. Few systems reworked to use all the tanks. The Pilates PC6, also tons of fixes, followed by the Cessna 172 Skyhawk, also fixes due to the camera. I think this one is receiving less updates because it's kind of, let's say, probably the most developed one. And you can see clearly that the Pilates and the FA18 still require a lot of fixes to be implemented, right? And it's also applicable to the rest of the airplanes, right? You can see that the aircrafts which were part of the, I would say, initial release, well, except the Boeing and the Airbus, didn't receive that many updates compared to, I would say, the more complex airplanes. Then we're coming to the world fixes. They fixed the windmills, red light intensity, the sunlight glowing above the horizon at midnight, and some trees wind animation. The UI has got some small fixes, and the peripherals also got some fixes. The hot ass one, the velocity one, the honeycomb alpha joke also. So there are some issues which are being fixed specifically for the peripherals. SDK, a lot of fixes here. I'm not gonna go to them, but if you're a developer, then there's a lot of changes here. And of course, if you're lucky and you've got the Reno Air Races, then you also have some fixes here. The cool thing about this, if we go to the list back, is that you can see that during the beta, right, this was the original beta version, then we had this one which had some issues which were reported during the beta, right? So some cool fixes which were really necessary and hopefully were all fixed. I didn't test all of them, to be honest. And I saw that, let's say, a few hours ago, a new beta has been released, which is 1.23.12.0. There's not so much details in it, right? There was only an issue where the flight file cloud saves were saving to the cloud, whether either fail or only work once. So there were some issues with the, I would say, cloud saves. This build, right, version 1.23.12.0 will likely be the one which will be the release candidate for Monday. So if no real bad things are discovered in this version, then this will be the version. I also wish them a lot of luck, because the 28th is coming very close, right? And it's already weekend in most parts of the world. So in this video, we looked at all the updates which we could find, right, both on the development roadmap, but also on the forums and release notes on the things which are expected in Sim Update number 8. So just, I would say, 3 days ahead, and then we're having this Sim Update number 8 already available. Here ends this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you've got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.